So in this episode, we're going to talk about how relationships affect your business. Now, if you haven't started your business already, then you might not know what I'm talking about. But if you have started your business, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? Isn't that right, Mommy?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing I want to cover is those people that are married and have kids. So there are different types of relationships. Let's break down the relationship types of people who are married.
We have those that are married and they have kids.
All right.
And we have those that are married and with no kids.
Right, right.
And what else?
Newly married. So there's newly married,
yes.
And people who've been married for a long time.
Right.
So maybe let's start with the newly married, right? So when you're newly married, you've probably gone through the honeymoon phase and you're still trying to figure each other out. And you know, that you're still discovering the things that you hate about your partner, the things that you love about your partner, and it's it can get quite awkward, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And you might not be ready to discuss finances. You might not be ready to dive.
Even your future goals too.
Right.
Yes.
Even talking about your future goals or really dive deep into what you want to do and what he wants to do. All right, for example, the woman might be interested in starting a business that is completely different from what the husband is
like for instance, to start up like a home health care agency or home care agency.
Correct.
And maybe
your husband has got his own business going.
Got his own business, or he probably doesn't even have a business himself.
Or he doesn't even have a business. Let's say he doesn't have a business.
Yes.
You need to ask yourself, if I start this agency, will my partner be supportive? Because you cannot do this yourself.
No.
Right?
There's no way. That's why they say that two heads are better than one, because you can't really do everything by yourself. You know, everybody has something to contribute to the table. So when you support each other, it's very, very important, because you also get to know each other. You get to have an understanding of each other, like the deep understanding of each other.
Deep understanding, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? If the both of you in your relationship are not on the same page and committing to this business and building and growing this business together, it will never work.
No. And guess what? From a woman's perspective, there's a saying that goes, unhappy wife is unhappy home, and it's also unhappy marriage. So you don't want that to happen to your home, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, coming together, I know sometimes, I'm going to give an example, for instance, of our relationship. Like for a very long time, I remember telling him that before even we thought about the HHA, as in home care, I'm also very interested in hospitality, you know, industry, and I've always talked about I want to own a restaurant. I love to cook. That's like my passion too. So I remember discussing this with him, and he was being honest with me, like, you know, the restaurant business is, you know how you always tell me that the restaurant business is good,
painful,
but it's very painful.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. But again, he didn't deny me from doing something that I like. So instead of
support it,
she had to be supportive.
100%.
Yes. So instead of me going into because I did my research, I remember him telling me, you know what, maybe if you don't believe me, go ahead and do your research. And yes, I did my research, and I realized it's a very difficult kind of business to run. So instead of that, I said, okay, you know what, maybe I could do catering. Yes, catering is also part of the business as well. It's different, but it's kind of similar, because it all goes back to cooking, and I love to cook. So he was very supportive with the catering, and he supported me. We tried it out. We did a food testing. We invited people, and he was supportive all the way. And yeah, that made me feel good, because I'm like, okay, he understands that this is a big thing for me, and it kind of brought us together, like to
Even
understand
much closer.
So that's one of the examples that I wanted to share with you.
So even though I was not excited about the catering business, I had to be very honest. I knew I had to support you 100% and not let you do it on your own.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had to do that is because so we can get through the learning phase. And the failure together.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because if I had allowed for you to fail on your own, you wouldn't have wanted to adventure into a brand new business.
That's right.
You wouldn't have had the confidence to say, well, let me try this home care business, and maybe so let me try this home care business. She wouldn't be confident to try it if I wasn't supported with the first business that didn't work out.
Yes.
So back to the point that if you're in a marriage, those are the questions you need to start asking each other, and to be very honest with each other and say, look, if I go into this business, will you support me 100%? If your partner is not willing to support you 100%, what makes you in the first business, what makes you think he's going to support you in this HHA home care business that you're starting? It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You know, and of course, there's so many different dynamics, right? The dynamics I'm talking about are, do you have a convincing argument to start a business? Because how are you going to justify to your husband, or to your new husband, that, hey honey, we need to spend $5,000 on this business? It's almost impossible to convince your partner to invest in like $5,000 if you don't have a convincing argument about how you're going to make money and how the entire business is going to be managed and how you're going to build a team for your business. So it's your job as somebody who's looking to get into this business to know how to convince your partner so that it can work.
Do your research as much as you can. And bring it to the table. Like before you even approach your partner about it, do first your research, and then whenever you can, you know, bring it up to the table and discuss about it.
Absolutely.
And also this goes to the men too. Like I just mentioned before, that a happy wife is a happy home.
Absolutely.
So if you need to listen, give your wife time, you know, give them time to communicate whatever ideas that they have. It's good to show interest, even if you don't really like the idea, but show some interest. Be a good listener and get to hear what your wife has to say.
Absolutely. Well, the real is, most of the people that are going to be watching this channel are women. So guys are not going to watch this stuff. But it's at least it's my job to give the guys perspective, the guys' point of view. Because it's very hard as a man to part with $5,000. It's very difficult. No matter how good your argument is. But then again, you have to build that trust from day one. If there's no trust that you've built from day one, it will never work.
It's not going to work.
In fact, the complete opposite will start to happen. Your husband will start sabotaging your idea. And asking you and saying things like, hey, why would you want to do that? You know? Or things like, do you know that 90% of businesses fail? Absolutely not. Majority of businesses fail.
But that's dangerous kind of mindset to start thinking already, you know? Thinking negative, that's not good. And that's another thing. You don't want to be surrounded with negative people either.
Absolutely. Now, this leads into our next point. Which is, we cannot assume that everybody that's watching this is in a happy relationship or a happy marriage.
What about those that are going on a divorce or something?
That's what I'm told. That's what we're going to talk about. This channel is about this. We're going to talk about, we're going to cover topics that are uncomfortable, but they still need to be covered.
They need to be covered. Somebody out there needs to hear this.
Somebody else needs to hear this. Let's be real with ourselves. Not everybody that's watching this right now is in a happy marriage. Some of you are, you know, separated. Some of you are looking to leave, lose a partner that you are married to. So those things will definitely affect your business, and you won't be as successful as you want to be.
You want to be.
Unfortunately.
So how does somebody like that, how do they solve that? Somebody who's going through what you just you've just mentioned, how do they solve?
If you know that's the situation that you're facing,
right,
you really have to say to yourself, well, all right, so I got all these other things to juggle.
Right.
Maybe I need to cut out going to brunch. We talked about this,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Maybe I need to just tell my friends, hey, we can only hang out maybe once every 6 months, once every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
But not every weekend, because you just don't have the time for it.
You don't have the time for it.
You know, you have to make time for yourself, unfortunately.
Also, another thing that we actually both do is we wait for the kids to maybe take an afternoon nap, or whenever they go to sleep, we utilize that time to get work done, whatever we have to do.
Right,
yes.
Like you have to be obsessed with time management.
Yeah, even we don't really go out. Coming here to the park,
this is our going out.
This is our going out, you know? And we don't even do it that often.
Yeah.
So
this is our club. This is our version of the club.
We're always working, because at the end of the day, we are looking at the long-term future goals. Whatever goals that we are working towards it, because there's one thing that you can never take back is time.
It's time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can lose money, you can make money.
Yes.
But you can never get back the time.
Yeah. Money is always there. It comes and goes. But time, no.
And the other thing we forgot to talk about is most people in the marriage don't want to talk about money.
That's so true. It's very important for you to be transparent with your money as well.
And I think what's more important than that is to agree how much you're going to invest together into your business.
Right. So maybe you can do it this way. Ask your partner that how much are you willing to put on the table every month in order to come up with that 10,000. I think that's a fair way of doing it.
Absolutely.
Whatever, it could be 150, it could be 300.
Right. Anything.
Yeah, but you're giving him, you're not planning it like, honey, let's put 500.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta put 500. No, just ask your husband that how much are you willing to put on the table,
or just invest, or whatever. Or just be honest. Yeah. Just be like, hey, how much are you willing to invest into my business? This is how much money I need.
Yeah. Discuss. The thing is that what is lacking in a lot of relationships is they don't have good communication skills.
Terrible communication.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, you need to open up and discuss. You need to open up, But if you don't have that, then
you really have nothing.
Then you really have nothing.
Yeah, because marriage is about sacrifices.
Yeah, sacrifices.
If he's not willing to sacrifice going out with his boys, buying that pair of Jordans, giving you that $200 and saying, hey honey, here's the $200 that I want to pay for these new Jordans. I'm going to put it into your business.
Right.
If he's not willing to do that, then you guys are in trouble. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
I mean,
so
it's tough.
this leads me to another question. So let me say, if somebody has a partner who's not really willing to support them, how do they go about it? Should they continue go ahead and start up their own agency, or
here's what I think.
What should they do?
Here's what I personally think.
Yeah.
I think that if your partner is not willing to support you in this business, maybe consider partnering up with a friend. A friend that you really trust.
Yes.
And
that's a good one.
And it could be that maybe your husband will, once your business starts making money, he will consider.
Then he will show interest. Yes.
That could work out too.
Yeah, because you don't want something as this to cause a lot of misunderstandings in the marriage because of something like that. You don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's always other options, like you said. Find like a friend that you trust, that you can partner up and start up the business.
Absolutely.
The thing is that when you're coming into this business, you gotta really be ready mentally and financially. Yeah. If it's gonna take you a year to put up that money, or however long it's gonna take you, take your time. As you're putting down the money, you're saving that money, also try and do research and, you know, watch YouTube videos. Do as
some
much
free
as free information. Business.
Because business is really like raising a kid. It's
That's
very
true.
difficult. You gotta nurture it, you gotta feed it.
Yes.
You gotta breastfeed it like this little one right here. You know, you gotta tend to the
You gotta
emotions.
sacrifice.
You gotta sacrifice.
Right.
You gotta tend to the emotions because you love it.
Yes.
You have to love it.
Yes. And also, one key thing that you have to bear in mind is that you gotta have a lot of patience.
A lot of patience.
Yes, because good things don't come easy. So with the business, you might even spend 6 months to a year without making money. Yeah? It happens a lot.
But on that 12th month,
yes,
that's when you close that $5,000 deal.
Yeah,
you know,
it's possible.
Yeah. So I hope you got some value from this. I'll see you in the next video.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, bye.